Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. Is it time to say move over rosemary oil? There's a new hair growth ingredient in town. Well, quite possibly, especially if you read some of the recent studies which just show how effective copper peptides can be when it comes to promoting hair growth and minimizing hair loss. Throughout 2023, rosemary oil for hair growth was the most Googled skincare related term on planet Earth, and just about everyone tried rosemary oil on their scalp and reported some really great results. This is actually something I covered in a previous video where I shared with you like my before and afters. I'm going to find that video and I'll link it up there if you want to check it out. Well, on the back of the popularity of rosemary oil, further studies were commissioned to look at other skincare ingredients and how their topical application on the scalp can impact hair growth. One of the most promising ingredients to come out of those studies were actually copper peptides. Now, most of us probably use a copper peptide serum somewhere in our skincare routine, as they're great for promoting collagen and elastin production, minimizing fine lines and wrinkles. But used on the scalp twice a day, they show really great results when it comes to promoting hair growth and minimizing hair loss. And I want to share all of that information in today's video. Sit back, relax, let's talk copper peptides for hair growth. Now, before we get into today's video, I would of course love to know your own experience with rosemary oil for hair growth or copper peptides for hair growth. Give me like your hair growth before and after stories in the comments section below. I'll be sharing my own experiences, of course, but I do really value your input, and I always look forward to that part in the day where I sit down with a cup of tea and get to reply and respond to all of your messages. So thank you so much for engaging with the content. If you enjoy this style of video where we do a bit of a deep dive into some of the new studies, what they're suggesting when it comes to some of our favourite skincare ingredients, then let me know by reaching down and giving the video a big thumbs up and a like. This really does support me as a content creator, and the more likes the video gets, the more likely I am to replicate it, similar content in the future, because I'm always keen to create the sort of videos that you guys most enjoy watching. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to each and every one of you. Now, without further ado, let's cut that waffle and delve straight on in. Now, the terms hair growth, hair loss, they tend to get used interchangeably, but they are of course different. There's a lot of people out there that are just looking to maximize the thickness, the volume and the density of their hair, maybe increase the length that they can achieve, whilst others are looking to minimize the rate of hair loss, something that just about all of us will experience as we age. It is always worth remembering that our scalps, like the rest of the skin on our face, are unique to us, and different people will respond differently to different products and ingredients. And hair loss is a real sensitive subject. It's something that can really damage people's self-confidence and self-esteem. So I would just say at this point in the video, let's just keep our comments positive, constructive. Let's build up and support one another, because I know this is an area that can, impact people's self-confidence significantly. But fortunately, there are some ingredients on the market that might, just at the margins, have some significant benefits, and copper peptides are looking really promising. So I shared my own rosemary oil for hair growth journey, like I said in that video, I think early on in 2023. I've used it fairly consistently since then, and I've been pretty impressed with the results. Now, I do think you need to set your expectations here, because do I think that rosemary oil is going to deliver the same results as, say, a prescription high strength option? No. Or a surgical intervention? Absolutely not. But it's super accessible, often with less side effects than people will experience with other treatments. And so I think it's a great addition to a hair growth or a hair loss program, and I got fairly decent results. I'm approaching 40, and whilst our hair will change over the years, I've been fortunate to not experience a whole lot of hair loss, but definitely it's been something that's on my radar that I've been wanting to minimize the risk of, and of course maintain volume and density. And I think rosemary oil definitely helped play a part in that. Now, of course, like I said earlier, we're all unique and people have different experiences. But recently I have switched to copper peptides, and that's on the back of some of the studies, which I think just show how potent copper peptides can be when it comes to maximizing hair growth and minimizing hair loss. So now let's look at what these studies into copper peptides for hair growth and preventing hair loss actually showed. Well, there's lots of different studies out there, and I love that. I love to see multiple different sources. However, one in particular stuck in my mind, and this particular study looked at the use of copper peptides twice a day over 6 months on male participants. What it actually showed was it had a significant reduction in the rate of hair loss amongst those using the copper peptide serum, and averaged out that reduction in hair loss was 9%. Now, this is pretty decent. When you think of all the lotions and potions out there that promise the earth and don't deliver, a 9% reduction in hair loss is something to definitely be excited about. Now, in these studies, there definitely seems to be a bit of a gender split. Women tend to report that they see thicker, more voluminous hair, definitely helps promote hair growth, volume, and thickness, whereas guys tend to present as reduction in hair loss. And that kind of makes sense when you look at how copper peptides work. So copper peptides, when applied to any skin, be it the scalp or the face, will increase the rate of collagen and elastin production. This is wonderful for our overall skin health. So it makes sense that if you use something consistently like a copper peptide serum to promote collagen, after 6 months your hair will be healthier, it will be thicker, and it will be fuller. Specifically when it comes to guys, the reason that copper peptides are so effective is it actually disrupts the dihydrotestosterone that's in our scalp. So DHT, as we'll just call it from now on, is the #1 trigger to male hair loss. And this accumulates when testosterone present in our bodies is converted into DHT, which then pools in the scalp. Studies showed that the use of copper peptides actually prevents that conversion. So it doesn't impact the testosterone, but it prevents the conversion into DHT, which means less of it can pool in the scalp, causing that hair loss. So when you look at it like that, it kind of makes sense as to why these people are experiencing such great results with copper peptides. Now, of course, everyone's experience will be different, which is why I want to share mine in this section of the video, but I'd love to hear yours too. So I've been using copper peptides on my scalp for the past 4 months, and I actually started my copper peptide journey with my own serum. This is the Mad About Skin Skin Perfecting Peptide Serum. This has a 3% concentration of copper peptides, one of the highest you'll find over the counter. And I really wanted to try this out with a super high dose of those copper peptides so I could really see the results. Now, most of the studies done into these copper peptides and the use of them in hair growth and preventing hair loss do so at a 1 to 2% concentration. So this has a 3% strength, which means you're likely to be able to see the maximum results. But of course, other serums with a slightly lower concentration still will work in accordance with these studies. So I've been using this for the past 4 months and I've seen some fantastic results. Now, we are going through a bit of a rebranding at the exercise at the moment, which means all of the Mad About Skin products are out of stock. They'll be returning in the next month. So if you did want to get your hands on this, if you go to the website www.madaboutsincare.com and you scroll down to the bottom of that first page, you'll be able to sign up to our newsletter, and that's where I'm going to notify everyone first and foremost when the relaunch happens and the products are available to buy. But I went with this option because it's got that 3% concentration and I wanted to give the copper peptides the maximum strength and opportunity to perform. However, a great alternative if you haven't got this and it's out of stock is actually the ordinary multipeptides plus copper peptide 1% serum. 1% strength of those copper peptides, but that's still in line with what a lot of these studies were using in terms of their subjects and the strength that they applied to the scalp. So the ordinary, definitely a great option. Just make sure you go with one with a known concentration so you know exactly what you're getting. And once I've finished with this, before we get through to the rebrand, I will switch to the ordinary to keep it consistent with the scalp. So, applying it for the past 4 months, and I will say I didn't really notice any results until month 2. It was at that month 2 point that I definitely noticed my hair was thicker, it was fuller, it just felt healthier. So it's definitely worth remembering that, the impact will differ person to person, but I definitely noticed that I started to see some baby hairs, some new growth come through, particularly around the temples, which was fantastic. I've obviously continued that to month 4, and that regrowth has then just got longer and kind of grown in with the rest of the hair. I've definitely been impressed, and whilst I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking or anything earth-shattering, I definitely got better results from copper peptides than I did from rosemary oil that I'd used consistently for the months prior. I know anecdotally other people that have tried this have had the same experience as me. They've genuinely been quite surprised with how well it's worked. Set your expectations. This isn't going to be the same as getting a hair transplant or, trying some of the super high potency prescription options. But over the counter, for a serum that most of us probably will have in our skincare routine somewhere anyway, it seems like a no-brainer to incorporate it, even if you just get some really nice improvements, which is something that I've experienced. I'm now a huge advocate, and I've moved away from rosemary oil, which I found I didn't like the texture on the hair, if I'm totally honest. It made styling really difficult because it definitely left a bit of a film and a coating. You don't get that with copper peptides. They just kind of sink in, give them 5 minutes and you can style as normal. I also got better results, which is obviously something that I'm driven by. I want the maximum results, and copper peptides seem to be giving me just that. And let me just tell you, I am sold. Copper peptides for hair loss? Absolutely. Copper peptides for hair growth and density? Totally. And I think this is a really great, quick, easy, and not too expensive way of kind of getting the results you want without having to reach for a more invasive treatment. I would, of course, love to know your experiences, but I have linked the Ordinary and the Mad About Skin ones in the description box below if you want to check them out. Mad About Skin one will be relaunching in about a month's time. The Ordinary one, obviously, available now. So it depends how quickly you and how keen you are to start. But I would say to everyone, give it a go. I've been impressed. I came from a position of skepticism and I've been totally won over. Twice a day, every day for 4 months, and you'll definitely see results. It makes sense when you look at how copper peptides work, and I'm glad that I can now back that up and confirm those studies. They do actually work. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comments below, and wherever you are in the world, guys. Stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.